Yo, this is me, Mike, Ringmaster of the Imagination Circus, and I'm here to bring you something new. Outside of, already doing Why Do I Ship It, I'm also going to be doing this going forward. It's something a little bit fun. A lot of people have done stuff similar, so I thought, hey, this is a good idea. And this was actually something that a friend of mine suggested to me. I have my iPad here. A little old, a little dusty. I'm going to be honest, I don't use this thing for much nowadays, but I guess I'll use it for this. Now, I'm going to be going to the website Quora, or Quora.com. And basically this website, if you want to know, if you don't use it for anything, if you don't know what it is, it's basically like a website to answer questions. You can go there and answer other people's questions. You can ask your own. And if you're lucky, someone will answer for you. And in this case, I'm going to be looking at certain questions. I'm going to start off with some Ruby stuff. I might move on to some other non-Ruby related stuff. I'm trying to do as much, because I want to do more, I want to do more Ruby related things now, because again, I am doing the reactions and I want to solidify just how much of a fan of Ruby I am. To the questions, all right? And the first question I have here and again, even if somebody else has already answered this on the website, I'm doing this for fun. I'm answering and giving my own thoughts. So, yeah. But the top question is the web series RWBY, with quotation marks, considered an anime? It's quotations around the word Ruby with RWBY, not anime. I don't know why I clarified that. I felt like I needed to. But, anyway... no, I don't. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this. Whether something that isn't from Japan is technically an anime is up to you. I know some people are going to automatically disagree with me that if it doesn't come from Japan, but here's the thing. Certain shows that a lot of people consider anime come from, like, China and stuff, because they make similarly styled shows as Japan, animated shows. And anime is just a portmanteau of the word animation over in Japan. That's all that's all the word anime really means. It's for them, anything animated is anime. Although, if you ask Hayao Miyazaki, he's got some interesting thoughts. He considers anime a mistake. So, yeah. But as far as my thoughts, whether RWBY is an anime, it depends on your opinion, and that's what I'm going to say. If it's something like this, where this can't really have a definite factual answer, because this can't, you can tell me all you want, but there's no definitive answer to this question. I'm going to say I do personally consider RWBY an anime. It's anime style. It's been distributed back to Japan. That's how big it was, which is something that doesn't happen a lot the way it did with RWBY, and it got dubbed over by them, and it's huge over there too, and it's like, yeah. There's even an official RWBY manga that is made and written by an actual mangaka in Japan, so yeah, that's a thing. And again, I think RWBY has a lot more evidence backing up the idea that it is an anime, and again, this is just my opinion, but I consider it an anime, and rest in peace, Monty Ohm, he considered his series an anime. And enough said. I'm just going to leave it at that. Here's a good one. Who has the saddest backstory in RWBY? Honestly, again, I don't know how far back this question is from, but after the reveal that happened with Ozpin, it might actually be Ozpin. The dude literally found the woman he loved after being a heroic dude for most of his life. He died of a disease. And then his girlfriend went, unknowingly, he didn't know anything about this. His girlfriend went out of her way to try and get him resurrected by the gods. That caused some things. People went extinct for a bit, and he went back, and he lost his kids, and he unfortunately had to revive over and over again, trying to kill his former lady love. I'm going to have to say Ozpin right now, unless we get some seriously sad stuff for Team Stark. I honestly don't know, but I'm going to say Ozpin, because wow, just wow. Trust me, when I learned that he had kids, my immediate reaction was, oh no! Something like that. It was like, oh god, I knew immediately that the fact that they had kids, the kids were not going to make it out of the episode alive. And not just because we were going to have a lot of his backstory over the ages, but also because, they were not going to live to any sort of natural lifespan. Magic enhanced or otherwise. So, and I'm going a bit fast with this, but like, hey, if these are my opinions, I gotta talk fast, I gotta do this fast. Who's your favorite RWBY character? That's a basic question. This Quora should not be used to answer such basic questions. Come on, I mean, I get it. You want your opinion. Go to find a website that you have polls on it and do a poll, like a Twitter poll. Do something like that. And have people like write their answer or something. It's not bad. I'm just saying, this website, it's a great tool, but it shouldn't be used for such simple questions. So who's my favorite RWBY character? I'm gonna be honest, is Jean. I know, some people have problems with him. Look, I like Jean. He's fun. He's grown a lot. He's at probably, because he started at the lowest point you probably could in the series like this, he has had more growth than most characters. And again, I don't think character growth is an entirely necessary part of a series, despite what some people think. For certain series, you don't need your characters to change that much. Like, RWBY is the kind of character that I'm totally welcome to character growth. I will gladly see her mature and change a little bit as time goes on, but Jean, of course, is the kind of character that you can really, and to be fair, the main character almost never changes in certain series. Like, for a series like RWBY, the main character rarely goes through any real growth. Jean, being a supporting character, if not one of the secondary main characters, has gone through tremendous growth. He's become so mature. He's learned how to actually fight. He's grown as a leader. He's going through some painful things. I said gone, like Hunter gone. But no, Jean has been through so much, and I liked him before too. I like that he's still got a slightly goofy edge, even if it's gone away so much. I love that his hoodie has the goddamn, I have this, don't ask why I have this right now, but, he has Pumpkin Pete on his hoodie, so I love that. Yeah. What happens if Piera returns in RWBY? Well, here's the thing. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, and here's why. They went out of their way to kill her, and they had been planning to kill her from pretty much the beginning, and they did it to show that this series has consequences, that by the end of this, we're probably going to have it's been a while, but we're definitely going to have some more of our main characters die by the end. Minus Team RWBY, because the series is named after them, and they basically all have plot armor. Well, okay, maybe not plot armor, because they can't die, but Yang did lose an arm, so I don't know. But as far as what, Piera is not going to return. It would take away from her sacrifice, even though I do think she kind of threw her life away, but it would throw away from her sacrifice, it would throw away from so much, and also we wouldn't have as much of a reason to kill Cinder, and I really, really want that. Also, if Piera returned, it would screw with the dynamic so much. I mean, would she come back full as she was? Which at this point would be younger than some of the characters. She's still, like, her and RWBY would be the same age. It would, like, what if she comes back, they've all, like, become, like, because this series is going to go for a while. I mean, at this point, everybody's at least a year older. They've, like, RWBY's now 16, everybody else is 18. They're all going to be, given enough time, they're going to be 20 years old, which is going to be weird, but awesome at the same time, because you don't see characters actually age a lot in the series, but I'm looking forward to that. And what if she comes back as she was? Is she going to come back that? That would be really awkward. And what about her and Jean? Because let's be honest, Jean, maybe he probably would have given her a chance, but he showed no interest in her. I'm sorry, Arcos shippers, it went down, and frankly, it didn't seem like it was ever going to actually happen anyway. I understand your thoughts. Outside of that one talk they had, the one that ended with her slamming him into a wall using her magnetic powers, I feel like I'm pissing off a lot of people right now. I'm going to put this video out regardless, but I feel like I am pissing off a lot of people right now. I'm sorry. So regardless, it's not going to happen. And even if it did, it would be awkward as all hell. Moving on. All right. Like, really, my biggest problem is how short the episodes are. I mean, I've been doing reactions, and I gotta tell you, it's so much worse, because normally I would just wait and binge watch the whole series, but now that I'm doing reaction videos, it's like, oh my god, why is this taking so Like, why are they so short? I can't take it. It's like driving me crazy, but yeah. What is your favorite opening for RWBY? Probably Volume 5. I mean, I like them. Volume 6 has been good. I love the opening for that too, but I haven't really gotten used to it. I might change my opinion down the line. I need to listen to it more before I can make a decision. But currently, my feelings on Volume 6 is mostly I like it, but its ranking above the among the other openings is up in the air at the moment. So let's put that one aside. As for the others, currently I think my favorites are Volume... Yeah, Volume... Oh man, this is going to be difficult, but Volume 5, Volume 3, Volume 2... Hold on, I know, I gotta think about this. Is it Volume 2? Okay, yeah. Volume 2, then Volume 1, then Volume 4. Yeah, I know, Okay, that went weird because I had my thumb come out last, but yeah, no, for me, Volume 4 is my least favorite. I know, weird, right? But I actually, yeah, and as for, like, my top 3, like, and for the exact order, for my favorite to least favorite right now, is Volume 5, Volume 3, Volume 2, and Volume 1, and then Volume 4. Yeah, I know, it's an interesting order, isn't it? But that is how I feel. I'm not the biggest fan of Volume 4 isn't bad. None of the openings are bad. I love all the music. It's just Volume 4 is the one I've had the hardest time really getting into, and I don't know why that is. It's definitely not bad. It's just the one I probably listen to the least. But what can you do? What are some similar shows to RWBY? That's a hard... I mean, I don't know. That's a hard... Because RWBY is pretty unique. Honestly, I don't think I could answer that one. What are some similar shows to RWBY? There are shows I like as much as RWBY, but I really can't say any of the shows I watch are that similar to each other, outside of a lot of them being fantasy-based, like Game of Thrones, One Piece, RWBY. I'm also a brony, in case you didn't know, so I also like MLP or My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So all of those are fantasy shows. So yeah, it's my favorite genre. I'm also a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is sci-fi fantasy. It's fantastic. The whole series is sci-fi fantasy. Like, I mean, if I had to choose one of those genres, it is over the other. Then Turtles is more sci-fi than fantasy, but it's definitely got fantasy elements in any of the versions you've watched. I'm also a big fan of the X-Files, another sci-fi series. It was a show. I have all 9 seasons on DVD. I also have both movies. I have some comics from the X-Files. I have some collectible cards from the X-Files. I am a huge X-Files nerd. But yeah, moving on. What is my opinion about RWBY? Chibi. I like Chibi. It's funny. There is certainly, and of course, like everybody, I have my favorite jokes. The parent-teacher conference with those, I mean, that even supports the fact that those two basically raised Ruby and Yang, and they're like, oh my god, that was great, like acting like those two were getting a divorce. Although it did make me want noodles, and I'm actually, now that I think about it, I might eat some ramen or some, like, lasagna after this. Two very different things, but both of them have noodles. Very different kinds of noodles, but noodles nonetheless. I love me some noodles. And it is warm in here, is it just me? Is RWBY for boys or girls? I hate this kind of question. It's so dumb. A show does not need... I'm a brony. I watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Let me tell you something. That show, despite being aimed at little girls, it's not meant for anybody. You can watch it regardless. There are elements... Yeah, there are a bunch of female characters, but I love all the female characters in RWBY. And I don't care who the main characters are. It's all kick-ass, fun, and it's beautifully done, beautifully animated, beautifully written, most of the time, I will say, but it's great. I love it. So the fact of the matter is, excuse me, talking so much makes me burp. I'm sure that I'm not the only one this happens to, but still. Point is, it's for everybody. Who is the hottest RWBY character? Salem. What do you love most about RWBY? Oh man, what do I love most about the RWBY? It's probably the characters, actually. Characters generally, if I like the characters in a show, it's usually them who keep me watching. Like, like I said, I'm a fan of the Ninja Turtles, and the reason I keep watching more and more Ninja Turtles is because most of the series that have done it have had a great grasp on the characters of the Turtles and their supporting cast and their enemies. So yeah, I love characters, and I think RWBY has some great ones. And yeah. Oh, and well, isn't this kind of ironic? Who would win a fight, RWBY or TMNT? I'm assuming you're referring. Okay, here's the problem with this. There should be the word team in front of RWBY and the in front of the TMNT. Or, yeah, see how I said it? The TMNT, not just TMNT. Because I assume you're referring to Teams RWBY and the TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello. Because the problem with the way this question is written, see what I mean? I'm not even like, I am answering the questions, but I'm also making fun of the way this is spelt. The fact is, both of those are more or less ways to refer to the series as a whole, as the franchises as a whole, and that could be very confusing. I know what you're talking about because, well, I have to assume that you're talking. So honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to RWBY. I love I mean, granted, I suppose it depends on which version of the Turtles you're talking about. Maybe I feel like maybe the 2003 versions could win because they have access to actual magic and turned into dragons once. Yes, that actually happened. Go watch it. It was fantastic. The point is, I think RWBY, mostly because, one, they have very unique weapons. They have ranged weapons. And the combination of that, their training and their semblances, plus, the Turtles, as much as they do have great teamwork, that's not always put on display. If I had to complain a bit about the TMNT and the franchise as a whole, it's that they don't always put the teamwork on full display a lot, and don't get me wrong. They do it occasionally, but they don't always show it. Whereas Team RWBY, when they fight together, we've seen it at least 2 or 3 times where they've been in a fight and they've won because of fantastic teamwork. And because of that, I have to say RWBY. I mean, this video has been primarily talking about RWBY anyway. Seriously, I know I mentioned Ninja Turtles a couple of times, but the fact that it's really a coincidence that I came across that question of all things. Who would win in a fight between Weiss from RWBY and Elsa from Frozen? Elsa would win. Elsa would definitely win. I love Weiss. No, seriously, she's one of my favorite characters from RWBY, but Elsa is so powerful, and her control over her powers got fantastic by the end of that movie. She would definitely destroy Weiss. And again, it's like Weiss definitely has more of a, Weiss is kind of a bit of a glass cannon, to be honest. She's very skilled, and she has a lot of different ways she can fight. But yeah, she goes down pretty easy under the right circumstances. I would have to say RWBY doesn't really have a target audience. The way that Rooster Teeth makes their content is that they tend to target it toward, they make the things they would want to watch, and as such, that's the reason they get such a strong response is because they make things that they would want to watch, and because of that, it resonates with a lot more people that way. I know that's maybe that doesn't make sense to you, but it's it's the best way I can describe that. Yeah. Who is the weakest character in RWBY in your opinion? I mean, it depends on what you mean by weak. If we're going to talk strictly speaking, the ability to fight is probably, now it's probably Oscar, just because, I mean, that'll change as he absorbs Ozpin's experience and stuff, but definitely Oscar. He's got the least ranged he's got the least versatile weapon. I mean, according to Ozpin, his cane has he's got a couple of tricks, but the fact of the matter is that he's got the least versatile weapon. His fighting style, while fantastic, especially as he slowly trains his body and slowly absorbs Ozpin's experience, he's going to get better. And hell, he's going to be probably go from one of the weakest characters to the strongest, but I'm still considering the weakest just from a lack of experience and because he's still adjusting to the things that are happening to him right now in the series. And I feel so sorry for that boy. He has to deal with so much. I really do feel so bad for him. I feel bad for Ozpin too, but it's with Oscar did not ask for it. He wanted a different life. He wanted that adventure and excitement. But he did not ask. Nobody would ask for what he got. That's all I'm saying. And if you do, I want to ask you, I want to analyze you psychologically. Anyway, if we're talking just before Oscar, it was obviously Jean. I love Jean. He's my favorite character, as I said. But yeah, I will admit that, yeah, he lacked the training and experience of the others, and that was the biggest drawback for him, because he, of course, has a, I don't know if there's a difference between strategic thinking and tactical thinking, and I don't remember which one Jean is specifically, but there is a difference. I know it sounds like it's the same, but there is a slight difference. I'm not going to go over it right now. My point is, but yeah, weakness isn't really a thing, because yeah, there's always a character who has, the thing is, people didn't bring different things to the table. Ruby is just the, kind of the hope. She's skilled, and she's a good leader, but her big thing she brings to the table is hope. And Jean, you could say he's the weakest, but he also brings something different to the table. And that is a big thing about characters. You can have a character who is weak in the classical sense, but you need to, give a character a reason, not just a motivation to be here, but something that they can contribute. And I think that's Oscar's problem, too. It's right now, as he slowly absorbs the abilities, yeah, he's brings something to the table, but it's basically that he's Ozpin's meat puppet, and I feel bad for him because of that too. And it's well, what else does he bring to the table outside of being Ozpin's medium? I mean, sadly, there isn't a lot of that. Maybe he maybe just kind of a a differing opinion from everybody else, because even Jean, who had no experience or training when it came to Beacon, at least he had came from a family of warriors and had some grasp of these things, even if he was so ignorant that it was kind of a pain, even I'll admit. But Oscar, literally, he was a farmhand. He doesn't even have that. And it's I just feel really bad for him. And again, I go on, I feel like I get so far away from the original question. It's wow. Why isn't aura use universal in RWBY? I think I don't know. See, this question is super vague, because I'd say it's pretty universal. I mean, clearly, people maybe the civilians don't have aura, but I'm pretty sure it seems pretty much majority of those people with aura have it in universe. Jean, he knows how to fight, and he got his aura unlocked by Pyrrha, and it's he has a lot of it apparently, but it's yeah, why would civilians have aura? Yeah, maybe it would save their life, but it's you have to train to use it, as pointed out in Volume 5. You can't it's not just always activated all the time. It protects you from injuries, sometimes self-consciously, but you do need to train with it a bit. It's not that simple. So yeah, yeah, that's why it's not universal. It's it's too much, it's why, it's someone, if they wanted to, there are certain jobs you need to get a degree for. I'm getting a degree, a bachelor's of the arts for film. I'm going because, and I don't necessarily need that degree, but I do feel it'll help. Some people just don't need one. I'm comparing aura to getting a degree. I know, weird, but yeah, what can you do? I need something to compare it with. What Hogwarts house would RWBY characters be in? Okay, that's a difficult one. I'm not the strongest. I'm a very casual Harry Potter fan, and if you're going to bring up houses, then I feel you also need to bring up Ilvermorny. I'm a Hufflepuff and a Horned Serpent, by the way. So as for RWBY characters, I feel I'm not super qualified to figure out what they are. What I would suggest you do, if you want to figure this out, though, for this particular question, find a quiz. Not the Pottermore quiz, because you can only take it. I mean, I guess if you wanted to make a bunch of fake accounts, you could, but that's not worth it. Find a simple, find a quiz or something, find another quiz that works just as well and answer the questions, or make those fake accounts and apply what you think you know about the characters from RWBY to the quiz, and then you'll see what house they're in. That's my best advice on how to handle that. I would not suggest making a bunch of fake Pottermore accounts. You could totally do that. Honestly, it probably wouldn't even be that hard, and, you know, you get it out of the way quite fast, and then you never use those particular accounts again. Yeah. Someone, if you actually go about doing this, tell me. I am actually curious about the results, but yeah. Moving on. What would my semblance be if I lived in RWBY? Technically, the world of RWBY has a name. It's called Remnant. I'm just saying. I know that's the most nitpicky, like, kind of pedantic asshole nerd answer to that, but, like, I'm sorry. The world does have a name. It's not brought up super often, but it has a name, and it's one of the few fictional worlds that does have a name outside of Earth. As for what semblance I have, well, I don't really have anything, like, I feel like my power, there's this one superpower I've always kind of wanted. I've wanted to control shadows. I wanted to be able to create shadow tendrils, shadow tentacles, just, so, you know, I've wanted to do something like that. You know, that's what I'd like, the power I'd like in particular. You want to call it a semblance? Okay, it's a semblance. That is what I'd like to have. That is my preferred superpower. Moving on. Yeah, it's like, alright, I feel like this video is getting really long at this point, so I'm gonna, like, find one more good question, and then I'm gonna move on. I could keep going for a very long time. I kind of want to, but I don't want to, like, you guys have been here a while. If you want to keep I appreciate if you really like this video, but it's like, I don't want to be here all night. I love what I'm doing right now, but it's like, I do have to just stop at some point, as much, even if I don't want to. Wow, there are a lot of questions about who Yang could beat in a fight. Like, I don't know why that is. How would I like this one. This is great. How would the RWBY characters fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That's an interesting question. I'm not sure how I mean, they could totally fit in. I'm just not sure how they would. I mean, I guess maybe they join the Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. if they felt so inclined. I would, you know, I gotta be honest, I actually looked into it. I could not find any decent fan fiction with them being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I looked. I love a good crossover where characters go to other universes, and I would love to see a good one. You know what I'd love? Have the RWBY characters interact with Jessica Jones. Why? Because it would be funny. It would be really, really funny. There's this really hilarious but unfinished story. It's literally just 2 chapters, and it's very short, but it involves Apple Bloom from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic getting transported into the MCU and, funnily enough, into Jessica Jones's apartment, and that was great, and I hope someday that it's continued because it is hilarious, especially with Jessica, who thinks she's hallucinating, trying to explain away the tiny, adorable pony that can talk in her apartment. But yeah, I think it would be awesome if, like, maybe have certain characters. RWBY would probably love Tony. Like Tony Stark, the armor. She would. There are things I can't say it. I'm sorry. There are certain things mostly because, one, I don't want to, like, say things in a YouTube video. I mean, if I was talking to you in person, I would say it. But let's just say that RWBY would have a certain bodily reaction if she saw the Iron Man suit, and it would be, let's just say it would be very heightened form of excitement, for lack of a better way to put it, if you get my drift. That was my attempt at a wink. I don't know if it worked, but, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, that's, like you get my point. It would be great. Maybe see Yang fight the Hulk. Oh my god. Sorry, I've been talking so long. But, yeah, have Yang fight the Hulk. If it doesn't kill her, then, oh my god, that would be, and then the Hulk would fall in love with Yang. It would be so weird. And have Blake. Blake would be a really good, like, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's like she's like a version of like Black Widow with less red in her ledger, and also Black Widow doesn't have a tendency to run away from her problems, but it'd be great. Regardless, yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. So I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say about that. I am so happy to have been able to make this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's been an idea that's floated around in my mind for a bit, and I hope you all enjoyed it. This is Mike, Ringmaster of the Imagination Circus, and if you feel so inclined, please do come back for more.